Now, Detective Truitt has been popping in and out here. We worked a prostitution case last year for another guy from PG County that was setting up houses. Actually, first he started doing a drop-off service where a guy would call him up and say, hey, I need a girl, and he'd take the girl to the house, deliver the girl, and then he'd come back and pick the girl up and take her to another house. Once Jeff got his guy out of the way, then he started setting up houses here in Annapolis. So Detective Truitt started working the case. Built a strong case of it. We raided his house, houses actually, and arrested him. Now, I will tell you, I'd say Jeff's deal is a great deal, conviction. On the state level, Ricky's was an awesome deal. The state's attorney's office was calling around to different jurisdictions, saying, this is what I have, what kind of sentence could I expect? They were saying 4 to 5 years. Cut him a deal, don't waste your time. She offered him a deal, and he didn't want to take the deal. And it wasn't 4 or 5 years, she was offering him 10 years. In the end, he gets convicted, he gets 19 years. Unheard of in the state of Maryland. Our state's attorney's office works really hard, and when we give them a solid case, they try to provide a solid result back for us. We got a couple things here. Some myths. Trafficking must involve the crossing of borders. It does not. A lot of it does come across the borders. A lot of people are being pushed into servitude from across the border, but we have runaway kids in this country every day. They don't know where they're going. They get lost. They're not found. Somebody picks them up on the street and pushes them into prostitution. You go down Baltimore Street down in Baltimore, a lot of those girls you see on there, they're working girls on the street, but there's somebody over them holding the gun to their head, taking every cent that they make. U.S. citizens cannot be trafficked. Yes, they can. We've talked about that. Victims know what they are getting into and have a chance to escape. They really don't. Especially our victims that are coming from across the border. They come into this country. Most of them don't even know where they are from one week to the next because no one tells them where they are. They don't have access to TV or radio. They don't have access to the outside world. Where are they going to go? They don't have money. They don't have a telephone. They don't even speak the language. They're trapped. And if they were to try to leave, they'd be beaten brutally or their families are being threatened to be killed. It's not going to happen. And that happened in Jeff's case. We've talked to several girls that were beaten, that a gun was fired at them, all to keep them in control. The victims are never paid. Sometimes they're paid, but not very much. And like I said, most of the time, they owe it to the house. I'm trying to wrap this up really quick because I'm told it's starting to rain. I talked about the Polaris Project. We mentioned it several times. That's our partners when we do prostitution cases. They work directly with Homeland Security, formerly known as ICE. And what happens is when we go into a house, we have the working girls there. In the beginning, we treated them as criminals. We arrested them. We tried to get them processed. And then we learned that they're just as much a victim as anybody else. So what happens is we go into a house. We normally have ICE with us. We normally have the person there that handles, what's Susan's?
She's a victim advocate.
A victim advocate. And then she talks, we get these girls, we talk to them, we turn them into the Polaris Project. The Polaris Project finds them housing, gets them medical attention, teaches them how to speak the language if they don't speak the language, and gets them set up with jobs. And gets their minds back to where they should be because these people are brainwashed and they're truly victims.
Where is the Polaris house?
They're based in Virginia,
I know they have a
they're all
office
over.
in D.C. as well.
They're all over. They're in D.C., but they're basically all over. I think they're actually
There's
worldwide.
a Samaritan house up in Baltimore County as well that is very similar to Polaris house.
Here's a van. I knew I had a picture. This van right here is what a van looks like when they're bringing them up from Texas up into the eastern seaboard. They lay them down in the van so that when police drive by, when other people drive by, it doesn't look like there's anybody in there. So from Houston to the eastern coast, that's how they go.
I just am going to interject really quick, just so you know, it is starting to snow and it is starting to stick. So if anybody does want to leave, obviously I just want to let you know. But if they're going to just...
So, my contact's up there. Detective Hartlow's information is up there. And Ed Kelly from ICE, his information is up there. Any questions?
Thank you.
Y'all be careful.
Our next meeting is going to, I'm going to go back to Tuesdays because the chief would like to be able to attend and does have a Wednesday conflict. So that will be April 8th. That is a Tuesday. Yes, that's a Tuesday. Does the 6:30 time work? Does people like 6:30 is good? It seemed like based on some others. And I just figured I'd ask. I've talked to a couple different people. I didn't know if there was interest in maybe how parole and probation and that system works is an interesting topic, or if someone would like to hear from a victim of domestic, an actual victim of domestic violence that had a pretty, I guess, violent history with her partner and is now kind of on a speaking about, you know, what her relationship was like. Is there a preference either way, or cover them at some point in time, do both throughout the others? Okay. Okay. All right, so then April 8th, 6:30, it is a Tuesday, and everyone get home safely.